Hey everyone, as promised, I'm doing my 1-year review, which is actually a little over a year, and we're going to talk about everything we've put into our car and just do like an overview of it. Just before we get started with that, I wanted to say thank you to everybody for their nice comments on the last video, because my wife and I really appreciated it. Anyways, let's get started. If you don't know, I bought this car last April, so it's been 15 months, and at the time I was driving a little 2-door coupe and really wanted something a little bit better for Rose and an automatic, because that way my wife can drive it. And so we were looking online, and this one really caught my eye because I liked the fact that it had the roof rack on top, so I could throw like my canoe or kayak on it, and it had the nice cargo area in the back. And being that people really don't desire wagons, it was really cheap. So yeah, let's just talk about it. So I have quite a lot written down here. You can pause it if you want, but essentially the initial buy, they're asking $2,200 for it. I talked them down to $1,600. The front end had some clunks to it, and just overall, you know, it wasn't in perfect condition. I knew I was gonna have to do some work. I knew it needed motor mounts and some other stuff, so talked the guy down to $1,600. And then immediately put, oh yeah, it needed brakes too, so I put brakes on it and did a tune-up on it and just went through everything. And that's where a lot of this cost is coming from. Accidentally broke off that EGR valve while I was working in there. The plastic was a little bit brittle, so a couple of these things were kind of my mistake, but regardless, went through. I did have to do the brakes twice, because the first time through Rock Auto I went through like their cheap brake set thing, and it didn't work. So now it has Motorcraft brakes on it, which are a lot better. And while I was working on it, I did a lot of preventative stuff too. Like when I redid the rear brakes, I put in new wheel bearings, yada yada. And then this winter we had a really cold snap, I think in January, and both of the front struts, which were original, the rubber bushing on the top went bad, so I had to replace both of those. They were like $50 a piece, but the driver's side one was about like 2 weeks after the passenger. I did one and then the other one went bad. So when I bought the driver's side one, I put in a Monroe brand, which is blue. You can't really see it, but it's in here. And when you hit a bump, the shock squeaks. So that was driving me nuts. It works just fine, but for whatever reason, I looked it up, and it's like a common issue with it squeaking. So I just ordered another shock, which should be here tomorrow, which was $55. So not really necessarily needed, but I was just trying to give you guys an idea that it's been like 3 months since I've done anything to this car, and now I'm just gonna replace this shock because it's driving me nuts. But it's been a really good car, a really good runner. Haven't had anything too crazy wrong with it. But yeah, so the total cost, oh yeah, I had to put 2 tires on there also, which I could have went cheaper. You know, $300 for these little 15s is pretty expensive, but I matched the tires that were on it, which are these Bridgestone Ecopias, and they're not bad. They're kind of loud. They're a 70,000 mile tire, so they're hard plastic, and so they're a little bit loud, and they wear a little bit goofy because of the hard plastic, hard rubber. They kind of wear goofy, so I'm hoping to put winter tires on here this year. now that I have a further commute, I figure it's probably worth my time to put nice tires on here for the wintertime, and so I'm interested to see if it's a lot quieter with those winter tires. But anyways, my total in cost right now is $2,947, which might seem really high to some, but there's different categories of beater cars. There's like, you buy it and you just drive it, you don't do any maintenance to it or anything. Then there's a second category where you like change the oil, but you don't really touch like shocks or brakes because that doesn't affect you. And then there's like, I think my category where it doesn't ever have a check engine light. Everything's like tip-top condition. That's where I like to be. And mechanically I know it's good. So I think that a lot of this preventative stuff, I mean, I even looked up on forums like what tends to go bad over time, and one of them was like a fuel pump, right? A $70 fuel pump. Well, those are known to go bad. So I went and I replaced a fuel pump. So I really just did a lot of maintenance to it myself so that I had all the confidence that I would need. And I think in the video yesterday I said, I don't know if I would drive it, further than where I live here in Minnesota. I think I would. I mean, there's nothing that screams to me that this thing wouldn't, other than just my own fear of being stranded. So regardless, I broke it down monthly, and this is my monthly payment. But a lot of this stuff was bought right away, so I probably dropped over $2,000 on it within the first 2 weeks of me owning it, just getting this stuff. And then ever since then it's been very minimally maintained. So you could look at it as if you had a few $1,000s, you could put it on a down payment on a really nice car, or you could get something like this and make it your own. So a few things I really like about going this route is very cheap monthly to maintain so far. The car has 150,000 miles on it. So as far as mileage goes, I think that's relatively low, especially when you're looking at the car market and they're asking 10, 15,000 for a car that might be, this is a 2003, so it's probably about 10 years newer, but just the same amount of miles. That's a hard one to hard pill to swallow. It's a point A to point B. Now, safety-wise, that would probably be on the flip side. I would like to drive something a lot safer. There is that. But overall, it has airbags, so it's not like it's totally bare bones, you hit something, you die. Knock on wood. So, yeah, this is just kind of the breakdown of it. I just do a little overview. I think at some point it hailed, because I got a bunch of hail damage on here now, and I do not remember when it hailed, but I don't remember it having all the hail damage on it, so whatever. See, I don't have to feel bad about it. I did put these mud flaps on there because when I bought it, you really couldn't see any of the rust, but now it's starting to peel. But I got plenty of time left on that. Inside, I upgraded the radio. This one I got for a Christmas present from Sam. It was $30. It's this Jensen brand. It's about this wide. It's just tiny. It doesn't have a CD player, but it has Bluetooth, an aux cord, this 1 amp USB. Killer radio, sounds good, nice and loud. I love it. It really was a game changer, because one thing I think everybody loves to have is music, especially Bluetooth. So, but yeah, overall, I like to put my water here when I cruise. And if you have the AC going, the AC does work. It's really nice and cold. You have the AC going, it keeps your drink cool. The AC is actually so cold, if I put my phone in the holder, my phone won't charge up all the way because the battery's so cold it limits it. Cup holders in the front here. You know, your usual stuff, but nice cloth interior, rubber mats which came with. I put this voltage meter in here, so I know what I'm always charging. I learned, a lot of people ask me about that when they see my car. They say, "What is that? Why is that in there?" Well, when I got stranded in the red car, which I replaced the alternator on this one, it actually needed an alternator. But when I got stranded in the red car, I made sure I always had one of these. We can show you the back too. Here's the back seat. Got Rose's car seat in there. Quite a bit of room for her. And the seats fold all the way forward, and then these go all the way down. So yeah, you could actually probably sleep in here if you were short. But you can store so much stuff in here. Here's the back. Spare tire under here. Things I carry: jack, sockets, jumper cables, a tow strap. This is a nice little emergency bag that my grandma got us for Christmas years and years ago. Has, you know, band-aids and an emergency blanket, all that good stuff. Everybody got one, I think, so I have carried it in my car ever since, and it's come in handy a handful of times. And then an extra belt, and I got the belt tool in here. I really don't need that though. The belt's been replaced, but I just put it in there. This belt's smaller though, so I can bypass my air conditioner pulley. But yeah, I could probably take that out of here. What else? I always find this interesting. Look at that. And that is a clean tailpipe. That really surprises me because pretty much every other vehicle that I've seen or had, this one's not bad either. But typically, you know, they're a little bit sooty, and this one doesn't burn any oil at all. Oh yeah, and then for the roof rack, I put these 2x4s on here so I could put my canoe on here because my canoe's a little bit wider. So that's a good thing about cars that you pay for, is if you want to put a light bar on it, or maybe 2 different types of light bars, just drill the holes, or maybe 3 different light bars, drill the holes in it and call it a day. You know, you never have to worry about feeling bad about putting a dent in it, or like Rose will push her wagon and hit it and you don't have to worry about nothing. So yeah, I enjoy it. I think some people might find something like this stressful, but I enjoy my little beater here, and it owes me nothing. We've put a good amount of miles on it, and it's been a good car. So I don't know what else I can really say. Hopefully you guys found this somewhat intriguing, and like I said, if you can pause the video and look at everything I put into it, I'm sure I'm missing a couple little odds and ends, maybe a tail light bulb or something like that, but all the big stuff is on there. And like I said, a lot of it was not needed, but I did it because I felt the desire to just bring it right up on all of its good maintenance. So alright guys, thanks for watching. Talk to you later.